Semi-final of the Champions League for the first time since 2009. Never been beaten by Real Madrid as well. That record continues. Was this the complete performance, Theo, over the two legs?
I mean, yeah, you go to the Bernabeu and you get a result, any result really, but a win particularly. Yeah, I mean, you talk about creating history, Mikel Arteta with Real Madrid. They created history tonight and they're going to continue to create history with the performance. I mean, it was incredible. And this man typified it, really, from start to finish, because he had a night where it could have gone the other way for him. But Bukayo Saka, for me, he's such a resilient character in that dressing room and a player as well. But first of all, his intentions are always positive and he goes on his right-hand side. But look, you could tell the intentions was always going to be fearful from the Real Madrid. And what I noticed as well, particularly during this game, was he was always 1 against 1. The difference between Arsenal and Real Madrid, they always doubled up. But this was the penalty I was talking about, and being proud and the resilience of him, where you can clearly see there's a foul, but look, we can talk about the referee in a different manner shortly. But this is the side of it which is really out of character for Bukayo Saka to take a penalty in that manner. And you could have gone either way, like I was saying before, but the resilience, the character, what he's been through, and this is the other side I'm talking about, where he wants to do the defensive work. He didn't just shy away from the game. And this is right towards the end of the game when they're winning, actually, and you can just see how important it is to do that side of it, which I was never a big fan of. And Naden would 100%... Absolutely.
Good man.
But this is the one I really like as well, because he always keeps on the move. Rudiger, again, doesn't quite know where he is. Moreno, who we can talk about for plenty of time, but this is the run I love, and the finish is just absolute perfection. I mean, Jules, for me, Courtois got no chance, but like it was coming, and it's a performance for me where he's just getting better and better. And that's 15 goal involvements now, 9 goals and 6
As you
assists.
say, they're so
Brilliant.
impressive after what could have been a disastrous mental state for him to be in after that penalty. I mean, would have been more disastrous if they were chasing a game. They had time to kind of regroup. But you also want to point out, Jules, the performance of Mikel Merino, who scored last week. And when all the kind of comments about Arsenal have been, you know, that they need this out-and-out striker, their attacking force has actually been really impressive, hasn't it?
Yeah, and I think he's grown really into this role. It's not easy for a number 8 to move into a number 9, especially at this level in the Premier League, in the Champions League. And tonight, maybe his best performance. I know he scored in the first leg, and tonight there's the 2 assists, 2 great assists. The first one for Saka we've just seen, the second one for Martinelli. There is maybe more of a midfielder assist really from where he gives the ball, but the first one, his intelligence of dropping, the way he positioned his body, and then the pass for Saka. But through the whole game, he's been a great outlet for whoever was on the ball for Arsenal, coming short, holding up the ball, helping the block to push forward. And this is something he didn't do when he moved into that position against Leicester, 6 weeks ago or so, after Kai Havertz's injury. And really, I think he's really grown into that role of a number 9. And I can't even see him, we were saying with the boys, I don't even see him going back to the number 8 role that he used to have before.
You can talk about Madrid being very ineffectual in attack, with no shots on in the first half, 3 over the whole game. But actually, the Arsenal defence wasn't just confined, was it, to you know, that end of the pitch? It was all over the pitch they defended.
Absolutely, yeah. I think sometimes when we talk about defending, you'll try and have the emphasis on the back four. But in fairness to Arsenal, it's all across the field. I think it's the front line, it's their organisation, the fact that if you are to beat them, you'll have to go up against every single one of these players at some point. There are obviously moments where they're individual battles, but very rarely is a player just completely by themselves. And before you know it, you're playing into their strengths because you're going into areas where people will cover, not least of all, Declan Rice. I think the amount of ground that he can cover in a game of football, but then also when he wins the ball, he's very prepared to go and drive into the space. In this moment here, this is William Saliba against one of the best forwards in world football. He dealt with him as if he's seen him 1,000 times over. Maybe that's the French connection, who knows? But this is Mbappe at the Bernabeu, and it was no problem for Saliba. And here as well, that midfield 3, Odegaard, you know, he's a number 10. And as Theo said, like, you don't really want to defend, but these guys, they all know the value of it. And when they do win the ball, they try to protect it. They know how important it is to keep the ball for their side. And here again, the tracking from Rice going up against his England counterpart in Bellingham. And not just the tracking, the fact you can have an impact, stop him at the source, stop it from being a dangerous moment for you. And again, Rice, you can put him up against anyone. This is one of the best midfielders, I believe, in world football. Sometimes he's playing as a defensive side, sometimes he's up there in attack, but he always has an impact, and he will make those runs and make the right passes more often than not. And even Kiwior here. People thought there's an issue because Gabriel's going to drop out, but Kiwior, to be fair to him, he's played really well in these recent games. He's not been a weakness. He's been a significant part of that back line. And now, this is a big moment in the game. Again, Real Madrid are pushing on. It's a good header. Marino takes a touch. And this here from Martinelli in the 93rd minute, he's run past 4 Madrid players, but he's played every minute of this game of football.
To be fair, one of them's 39.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's only played 10 minutes, respectfully. But I think that was huge, and that basically summed up the way that Arsenal played in this game. Defensively, they were there, But whenever there was a chance to run forward, they certainly did do that.
OK, referee Francois Letizier did not have his best night tonight. The Madrid penalty we're going to leave to you, Theo, to sort out, because this was a mess, wasn't it? And we should just clear up that the reason, of course, it was overturned.
Yeah, well, yeah, it took over 5 minutes for this decision to be made, and we were clearly watching it. It took us probably less than 5 seconds. And what I always look at is players' reactions. Declan Rice is the most honest player. You can see here the delay reaction and Mbappe going down. Declan Rice, of course, has got a yellow. Now, all of a sudden, he's missing the next game. In the end, yes, the referee got the right decision with help, but he should never have been in that position in the first place.
And it was declared not to be a foul.
But what his problem was, is because he gave the first one, he had to give that, and then VAR had to help him out in the end, I believe. But look, right decision that was made in the end. Declan Rice, no yellow card, which is really important for them.
And, of course, that means that Rice is available for the semi-final. You'll find out who they're going to play soon, if you don't already know, which is important for Arsenal at the moment because he is just playing out of his skin, isn't he? He's a linchpin.
And especially with Thomas Partey, who got a yellow card late in the game tonight, so we'll miss that first leg of the semi-final. So how do you replace Partey too in that game? Do you play Rice as a 6, but then you lose a lot of what he does with those running and the energy and the activity he has everywhere? You play Jorginho, who is the different player to Partey. So Mikel Arteta will have a bit of time to think about that. But Rice, again, outstanding tonight.
And the consequences of this and perhaps the rest of the season for Real Madrid, because obviously